So that was another gripe I think I had coming out of it. And when I reached the Battle Frontier, that's also where I was like, this game is kind of expensive with and stingy with what it gives you.
Hmm.
Be- because if you look at the prizes, there's like a bunch of TMs, which again is a whole other thing. That okay? Oh, this is the thing I was gonna bring up with contests in the remakes. Um, because the only other game that's had remake contests is Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Those games had reusable TMs, which made it much easier to do all the contest categories because you could just reteach them moves and not have to worry about spending it on just like a contest to win, basically.
Yeah, you could give it a move and then go back to the original move for practically free.
Exactly. And then in this game, it's like, no, but it also doesn't seem to matter too much. So I think that was nice. But again, it's like you could just avoid that by having unlimited TMs again.
Yeah,
So,
that was a weird decision.
right, just a gripe there. Um, but like bottle caps are 25 battle points. Some of the power up items that you use to like boost the number of EVs that you get, I think, are 10 battle points.
Oh, like power bracelet and power anklet and stuff like that.
Yeah, all of those for EV training, basically.
Okay.
But what helps is that you actually get um 3 battle points each time you win, and then for the third time you get 4 battle points.
That's not too bad. I wouldn't mind grinding that out. I haven't done any like Battle Tower or whatever it is, Battle Frontier.
Yes,
I
okay,
haven't done
yeah.
that really yet.
I was wondering if
Um,
that was something that you were interested in.
yeah, I am. I don't know if I like to breed,
Mhm,
um, specifically shinies if I can, but especially like good IV Pokemon.
mhm,
And so I would do that, and then I would EV train them before I get into the Battle Frontier or
right.
a Battle Tower or whatever it was in a previous game.
Mhm,
Uh, I would like to like go prepared and be like, yeah, you're built specifically for this, and you're ready for this.
right.
So like the team that I went through the Elite Four with, I wouldn't bring into the Battle Tower.
Yeah. Yeah, though I
Sorry,
will say
Piplup.
oh, poor Piplup. Well, I think what helped me is having at least one Pokemon with perfect IVs, being Cranidos.
Mhm.
Because it's like, "Oh, okay, well, I know what's gonna be on the team because this thing is good to go." Also, Drifloon will have 3 perfect IVs.
That's true. Yeah, I did know that. Oh, I found that out after, but yeah.
Right. So, there's a few to start, and even if you don't wanna use those Pokemon, it is nice because you can breed for a male one and then pass those down to something in the same egg group, which, I did for, like, Pachirisu and Spiritomb. Um, have you tried you've tried Radar, right?
Yes, I did want to talk about radar. So, that was the first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to unlock radar when I was
Mhm.
finished with the Elite Four because I'd never done any radar hunts before. Um, the first, like my first big chain that broke was 31, but I
Ooh.
wasn't like super upset. I was just like, I know this is gonna happen. It's like a part of it.
Mhm.
Because I see some people that complain about their chains breaking in the 30s and it sucks, and it's like, yeah, that does suck, but it's also not a bad grind in my opinion. And so,
Okay.
um, I've only radar hunted successfully one Pokemon
Mhm.
uh, species.
Right.
So I ended up doing Pachirisu,
Nice.
and I'm not sure if you know this, but um, so at 39, when your chain says 39,
Mhm.
you will be getting your 40th Pokemon and that one will have, I want to say, 4 IVs, or maybe it's
Oh,
two. I don't know. It's like two perfect or four perfect IVs.
okay.
Um, so I specifically was like, I'm gonna get my shiny on when my chain says 39, so that my shiny is gonna have really good IVs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I did that, and my chain kept continuing until 53.
Wow.
So I got 14 shiny Pachirisu.
What?
Yeah. I was
Oh my
like, well, I
gosh.
don't know what I'm supposed to do with all these now. Like, I got to the
Uh,
point where I was like, I have to continue. Every time my chain doesn't break, I'm
hmm.
going to respawn the grass until I get a shiny grass, and then encounter that. I'm not just gonna call it quits.
Right.
But there was a point where I was like, please break after this catch.
You were in too deep.
Yes. It
That's
was rough. I was
amazing.
like, "Can I be done with this already? This is too much." But now I have a full pickup team of shiny Pachirisu.
Nice. They all had pickup?
Well, I got 14 of them, so I
Okay.
believe I got 6 or 7 that had pickup.
Cool, cool. Yeah, because it has runaway, which are both actually decent moves for post game stuff. But yeah, pickup's really helpful. At least in my experience. Do
And they're
you?
like
Mhm.
level 7 or 9 or something, so I feel pretty good about transferring that one over
Mm. Mhm.
to my shiny playthrough. If
Nice.
it was like a level 30 or 40
Right.
shiny, it'd be like, this kind of defeats the purpose of like playing through the entire game with them. Um,
Right.
but since it's low level, like I'm gonna do that. But I made sure to catch it in a love ball because I got the Amazon package.
Right.
So I'm very happy with it. The only thing that I was a little bummed about, because I knew that I was going to catch the 40th chain
Mm.
shiny, and I knew I was going to use a love ball, but I was just hoping it would be a girl, but it was a boy. But I caught plenty of other girls after. I just didn't
Nice.
use my last love ball on them.
Right. Right. Well, if you were doing this a few weeks ago, you could actually clone that love ball.
I did do this a couple weeks ago, but I didn't want to do that. I thought about it. I did think about it, but I was like, no, no, we're legit. I had to look myself in the mirror and said, "Come on, Simba Coil, you are legit."
Hey, that ball is still legit.
Yeah, I guess. Um, yeah, so we didn't exploit or anything like that. I
Sure.
didn't I didn't do any of like the land surfing. I watched people do it, and I thought it was
Oh, okay.
interesting.
Mhm.
Um, you asked at the very beginning some of my opinions of the game, or like my thoughts on the game in general, and I said that that was a really loaded question because
Mhm.
there are a lot of like really interesting small glitches,
Mhm.
and a part of me is like, oh, this sucks. It ruins the game when people are cloning their Pokemon and stuff like that. But then the other part of me is like, oh, this brings me back to my childhood of
Mm.
missing No. I'm not sure if you ever did that, but
Mm.
getting unlimited rare candies, unlimited Master Balls, catching missing
Oh.
No in Gen 1. So
Mhm.
it reminded me of that. So I kind of felt like there was this almost like this cute charm to
Mhm.
this to the dumb glitches that the game had.
Yeah, for me, I didn't really use much of the glitches in Pokemon games until Gen 3. And that was because in Emerald, when your clock stops because of the internal battery dying, you
Mhm.
can't grow berries anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, and I use that a lot to clone a bunch of berries so I can make poffins. And also because of the nature of those older games, you also had limited TMs, and there was no way to get new ones like you can in this game. So what I would do.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Honestly, like the only way back then, and this I was thinking about this too,
mhm,
when people were talking about how it really sucks that these TMs are limited again. But I was
mhm.
thinking like, man, back in the day it must have really sucked because you had to at least buy 2 games if you like
Mm,
if
mhm.
you already played through and then you're like, oh, now I'm gonna build a team.
Yep.
You had to buy a second game, trade your Pokemon over to that game, and then use that TM on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then trade it back.
Yeah, or
Because
just
you
have them
you
as held
probably
items.
could you use TMs as held items back then?
Yes, and you
Oh,
can in
okay,
this one also.
okay, I hadn't tried that, so that part makes sense. But still,
Right.
you would like require a whole nother copy
Yeah.
just to get another move, like a single move.
Yes. Oh yeah, and
Like, oh, I was dumb and I gave my Squirtle Bubble Beam, so now I have to start the game over and beat Misty all over again.
yeah, or like get you Shadow Ball, or like the some of the most common moves that you see are like, oh, you can only use this once.
Weird.
And what
Like Dig
Gen?
in Gen 1. I
Oh
mean, I think you can
right,
get it on like Doug Trio and stuff, but
right.
to specifically teach it, yeah.
Yeah, and as a kid, I would teach Pokemon moves with TMs that I didn't realize they learned later.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, ah, that's the worst. And what was the thing that I discovered in Gen 3 that I'm so glad didn't continue into Gen 4?
What's that?
Some TMs, the only way to get another one of them is by pickup.
Oh,
So if you want to get Earthquake again, you have to use pickup, and only Pokemon between level 91 and 100 can have a chance of finding it.
of
And
picking it up?
yep,
So you have to get a Pokemon that has pickup and
uh-huh,
power level it into the 90s
yep,
just to get another Earthquake.
for a 1% chance of finding that TM.
Yeah. I don't know.
So what I
Not in with
did
that.
was clone a bunch of rare candy and then make an Apom go all the way to level 91 and then clone that Apom 6 times and
Yeah.
then run around for 6 hours
Oh my gosh.
to finally find Earthquake.
See, I feel like that's fair.
Right? Like,
Like I wouldn't judge someone who did that. Like, oh, you didn't clone a shiny and you're trying to trade it for more shinies. Like,
mm-hmm.
nah, you're just trying to get this
I
stupid
just
TM.
want a TM.
Yeah, that's definitely fair.
Yeah, so I'm glad Gen 4 did not continue the like, oh, TMs are a pickup also, because in theory it sounds nice, but in practice it's like, oh, this is the worst. But it didn't affect me too much until post game, I guess, where I'm like, I really want this move, but it's locked behind something that's really expensive for some reason. Or it's just like a grind that you have to go through. Like I think I'm a little less upset because I know underground you can actually buy a lot of them.
Yeah, and I felt like the department store had a decent selection too.
Yeah, it's way bigger than it was before.
I was pretty impressed. I believe they had like Psychic and Ice Beam.
Mhm.
Those were maybe Thunderbolt. Those were the ones that like I was like, oh wow, I have to pick these up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dazzling Gleam.
oh, is it? Oh,
I believe so.
okay. I think that yeah, that may be right because I think that's how I taught it to my Togekiss. Yeah, they also have some of the newer moves that weren't in the game before, I think there. I kind of wish you could get more of the TMs that you get from gym leaders when you rematch them.
Oh, that would be cool. I haven't done the rematches yet. I've watched people do them, but um, yeah, I'm on to shiny hunting.
Right. Yeah, for me, my post game has really been the battle tower.
What's your team with that? You said
Uh
you're running the Cranidos, but what else?
yeah, Rampardos now because it's fully evolved.
Yeah, yeah.
Spirit Tomb,
Hmm.
which I breeded for it because I wanted Pain Split and better IVs. And Togekiss, also what I was breeding for. And let's
Does
see
that have
what else.
super
Oh,
luck or is that hidden ability?
I think Super Luck is hidden, yeah. I did
Okay.
catch some from Radar that was Super Luck. Okay, but back to Radar for a bit. I've not had a great experience with Radar.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
It's unfortunate because I feel like I now know how to do it, but my chain breaks within like 15.
Yeah.
And the furthest I've gone was with Shellos, which got to 39.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I
that
got one with perfect
that would
HP.
leave that would leave a bitter taste in my mouth for
Right?
sure.
Yeah.
Um, no, so I think let's see, my highest one, the
Mhm,
first one I tried to radar chain was
mhm.
Togepi, and I
Nice.
think I got up to like 16.
Okay.
Um, and then I don't know how the trophy garden works, if that's like just a daily spawn or if I could catch it there every single day, but I didn't go back
Mhm.
to that location.
Oh,
Um,
you went to the trophy garden for that. Okay.
yeah, that's where I found the Togepi.
Interesting.
Um, but so I didn't get the shiny of that, and then I
Mhm,
decided I was gonna shiny hunt the Pachirisu. And so, like I said earlier, I had the chain up to 31 and it broke.
mhm.
But then after that, I felt like it was breaking maybe low tens or lower, like maybe like 12 or
Mm.
lower,
Mhm.
until I hit that 53 chain. And so I feel like I
Yeah.
got treated pretty good.
I'd say so.
But then I also see other people that are like, "Oh, I got a shiny on a 0 chain,"
Right.
or "I got a shiny on an 8 chain."
Mhm.
It's like, "Okay, well, I didn't see that."
Right.
Only one time. So from 39 to 53, that was 14.
Mhm.
Um, only one time did I go from the shiny encounter to a shiny patch being spawned, um, like, immediately after the battle. All the other
Oh,
times I had
okay.
to reset the radar
Mhm.
until another patch would respawn.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder what they're going to find out more about Radar because have a feeling there's more to it. Because there's so many other things, or it's just incredibly RNG heavy, which could be the case knowing Pokemon.
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
The ones I've tried are Ditto and Togepi, and I just kind of gave up with Ditto because it has such a low catch rate.
Yeah, I chained Ditto just to catch a few Ditto,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was able to trade an English one for an Italian one, I think,
Okay.
on the GTS. So, or not GTS, but Union Room.
Right. Right. Okay. Did you try going west in Jubilife City? When you first enter
Uh,
it?
when you first enter it,
Mm-hmm.
is that towards like Cana, whatever?
Yeah.
I don't remember if I tried. What
Mm-hmm.
was blocking it? There had to been something blocking it.
So when you try and get to a certain point, a lady will come down from like her perch on the top part of the screen, like and tell you, "Oh, sorry, this is the GWS and it's closed for right
Oh,
now."
yeah, 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 that's right.
So
I know what you're
originally
talking
that
about.
was the GTS,
Okay,
and you could access it after your first badge.
that's pretty strong.
What do you
Like, you
mean?
can get some, like, crazy Pokemon early game.
Mhm.
And I just think about, like I typically play the Pokemon games when they release, but I think about, like, the kids who get it for Christmas,
Mhm.
and there's adults that have put, 200, 300 hours into the game by then, and they're just putting all these crazy Pokemon on GTS.
Right.
Uh, and you're a kid, you wake up on Christmas, you open up your Pokemon, you log in, and you beat the first gym, and then all of a sudden you're getting like Dialgas and Palkias in your team.
Right. Well, I mean, at least back then, it would be like, "I have a Bidoof, please trade for Dialga," and that Bidoof would be stuck there forever.
Okay, yeah.
Um, Modern GPS definitely made that a bit better, but my early GTS experience was pretty good, honestly. I was like, oh yay, I got like a starter or something for this other Pokemon. Um, one of the most memorable trades I did was for Teddy Ursa because I loved seeing Teddy Ursa in the third Pokemon movie and was like, I need to have this. So I actually caught it using something that was unique to the DS, which is if you put one of the GBA games into the bottom slot, it will actually cause certain Pokemon to spawn in different locations on the map.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, and that's what let me actually get um in like Platinum to the Ursa at Lake Acuity or like Tauros in this other area and so on. So it was a really cool way of being like, hey, I remember my parents were like, when you get a DS, you're like, so does that mean all your other games go to waste? Like, no, I can, I can play them, and also it gives me a bonus in my new games.
It was like amiibos before their time.
Right? Yeah. Huh. That's an interesting way of putting it, but very spot on. But because I didn't know that at the time, I think I had a friend or some I don't remember how. I got like a level 100 Blissey, and when I first went to go look at the trades, I saw someone who wanted a Teddy Ursa for a Blissey. So, of course, I gave
You
him the
traded
Blissey.
you traded a level 100 Blissey?
Yeah.
Hmm, interesting choice, Will.
Hey, I can find Chansey anywhere. I don't know where the heck to get Teddy Ursa, okay? Don't judge me.
I, yeah, but you also would have to level it up to 100 again,
I
and
mean,
that's the pain part.
that's true. I actually have no idea how he got to level 100. It might have been a hacked Pokemon at that point. You know, I was taking care of two birds with one stone there, just getting rid of the hacked mod and getting a beautiful innocent Teddy Ursa. But yeah, going back to my team for the Battle Tower, I have Rampardos, Togekiss, Spiritomb, the Gastrodon I just caught. I'm raising a Pachirisu right now with Follow Me, so I can use that in doubles.
Nice.
And
Is follow me an egg move?
yes, but it's also randomly on Teddy Urs or on Pachirisu in the underground,
Oh,
which
well, if you have one, I'm gonna need one because
okay.
the breeding method works, or like the egg move
hmm
transfer works from
Yes.
Gen 8, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So I can just do that.
Yeah, I've done that for Rampardos actually, so it can get Iron Head.
Oh, how do you get Iron Head without that? Like, who do you have to
Uh,
get it from?
it's an egg move from Lairon or Aeron.
Okay,
Yeah, so not too hard actually. It's just a Poke Radar Pokemon in front of Fuego Ironworks
okay. I did go there.
for
It's
Pachirisu.
like,
I'm guessing. Oh no.
no, it's just one of those weird locations that I
Yeah.
was like, after the game or after I beat the Elite Four, I was like, wait,
hmm
I never went in this building, I don't think.
Yeah.
So what's in here? Just a bunch of fire types.
How are you liking the post game actually?
Um,
Like the areas that open up after.
I haven't really done enough with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that whole like island, that is that all considered the battle frontier?
So that's it. Yeah, it's interesting. That whole area is called the battle area or the battle zone actually, and it has the different areas, which in the fight area, the survival area, the resort area. The specific part where the battle tower is in Platinum and then in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that is the battle frontier because it has multiple facilities in it that aren't just the
Okay,
battle tower. Like it has the battle uh factory to name one of them. And because there's multiple of them, that's what makes it a frontier. But if it's just the battle tower, then it doesn't have any other name for it really.
okay. But yeah, I went to that, I guess the battle area
hmm
island thing, and I kept getting, I want to say weeping bells and glooms.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm not interested. I want
Mhm.
I want some cool Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
not this crap.
Sure.
So, uh, I think I haven't really done like a whole lot post game in that regard of like exploring.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, but I'll probably get there eventually.
Yes, I will say there is more story that you can complete in this part.
Okay, cool.
And once you complete that, other trainers out in the open will have higher level Pokemon and give you more money.
Ooh, okay, I really got to do that.
Yeah, if you get to the survival area, you'll get that part of the story started, and you just need to see it through to the end, though I won't spoil too much about it. Uh, it's just kind of annoying. It's like people complain about Mount Cornet. I think this particular area is way worse. But also, since I know you were kind of surprised about Eternal Forest, how do you think of Mount Cornet in your expectations of time and grinding versus other people's experience?
I don't think it's as bad as I had heard. I
Hmm.
think it does help that I don't have to dedicate 2 Pokemon in my party specifically for HMs,
Yes.
to get around the thing, so I think that would have made it worse. I did feel like it was kind of a long journey getting up to the top to fight Palkia, or was that Cyrus? I guess you fight all of them and then you fight
Hmm.
Palkia, right? So, I felt like getting up to the top, during that portion kinda took a little bit,
Mm.
but other than that, like, going through it to get to the other side of the map was not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I also think it's wildly exaggerated. You just need like one Pokemon to take out Golbat from Grunts and maybe some Bronzor, but that's kind of it. And I think the experience share along with the lack of HMs needed is definitely helpful. There's one point where there's like red herring of where to go because there's like a cave full of grunts, but you actually don't go anywhere there. So if you just know to like back around one point of the mountain, you just go straight to where Cyrus is actually at Spear Pillar.
I can't remember if I ran into that or not.
Yeah, I think as a kid I did, but then this time I was like, oh, I just skipped that. I think in all it took me maybe 20 minutes or less to get to the top. I think going back to the story a bit, since this is your first time, what do you think of the overall narrative and climax here?
It was pretty wild that they wanted to blow up some lakes.
Oh yeah, that was a big beat for sure.
I did like seeing the Magikarp like flopping about afterward. I thought that was like a funny thing that they added in.
That was in the originals as well.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. So I appreciated that.
Mhm.
Um, I felt like it was very intense. I guess
Mhm.
their whole plan was very intense. Oh yeah, sorry. So it's just I don't know. It's just another Pokemon story, just
Mhm.
where kid saves the day. I don't know. It's weird.
Fair. I
Oh, you
will.
know what? I did say that I didn't
Mhm.
like Barry until like the end,
Yeah. Tell me more.
and so I think it was that portion where um I think it was where you get to like Spear Pillar, and he
Mhm.
comes up and he battles with you
Mhm.
after he already lost once to one of the planet named people.
Yep.
Um, uh,
Jupiter.
Mars, Venus, yeah, who knows, Pluto. Oh wait, um, R.I.P. Pluto. So
Mhm.
I thought that was interesting to see, like people say, "Hey, you suck," and then he was like, "Oh, dang, I kind of do," and
Mm,
then
mhm.
and then he shows up, and I feel like he gives you as the player a lot more credit after that,
Yes.
since you were
Mhm.
able to defeat the trainer he lost to. I feel like
Mhm.
he kind of like respects you at that point, and so I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." There was kind of like a little bit of a turning point there for me.
Right, I think that's the part that maybe goes unnoticed is that because of where Barry starts, it makes more of an impact for him to become a little more patient and insightful as we get closer to the end at that point. Because you do meet him a bunch of times and he kind of has that same attitude. And in the 2D versions of the games, I think it's more apparent when he's zooming past you. It's a little harder to kind of convey that in the original ones. But what I really like about this, that I didn't know this until playing through the remakes, is that every time at the gym, you know how they have like the statues in the front?
Yeah, and you
Have
talk
you
to
ever?
them, and it says like
Mhm.
who's defeated the gym.
Yes. And usually it's your rival, right?
Hmm.
And then after you defeat it, it's your name on there as well. There's a really interesting detail I noticed for the 8th gym.
Oh
I don't know if you picked up on that at all?
no, I didn't. So
Mhm.
I know who the eighth gym leader is now.
Yeah.
I found out a few days ago. I guess they had that. I don't know what series it was a part of, but Pokemon released a video on their YouTube for Barry.
Oh, evolutions, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and so I watched that, and that's how I found out that is his name Volkner
Yes.
is Barry's dad, and I was like,
Well,
wait, I missed this, huh?
that's not Barry's dad actually.
Oh, wait, what? What's the person's name?
In that he's battling,
Yeah,
that's Palmer.
Palmer. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So is he? Which gym leader is he?
He's not a gym leader actually.
What? Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
confused then.
Have you been to the battle tower yet?
No.
If you want to open your game right now and walk over, I think you're in for a little surprise. Just like literally, just walk up to the battle tower.
So I went into the gate,
Hmm.
but there wasn't a cutscene. Do I go out of the gate and then there will be, or maybe I've already done it and wasn't paying attention?
Is the gate with like all the green hair ladies?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, just keep going
Oh,
north.
you know what? I think I have been in here because this is where you get the IV checker, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, so I already did this and I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
paying any attention.
So originally in that cutscene, as you start heading up, you have this guy in a green cloak like bump into you with a thud, the same
Oh,
way
okay.
Barry does.
Got it.
And then Barry literally bumps right into you afterwards as well.
And so this is just someone that is in the battle tower. They're
He
not
is
actually a gym leader.
right. So a Battle Frontier actually, for all their facilities, including the Battle Tower, has someone called the Frontier Brain. And each facility also has a specific title that goes along with the brain. For the Battle Tower, the person in charge of that is called the Tower Tycoon. Barry's dad is the Tower Tycoon, so he's in charge of this facility.
Okay. Yeah,
And
so I didn't
mhm.
know that. I guess I thought maybe his was like the last gym leader.
Right, because they both have that yellow hair.
Yeah, so I think that's like after I watched that evolutions episode, I was like, "Oh, okay, that was the last gym leader," and that was not correct.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So tell me more about this plaque. I think I interrupted you
Oh,
there.
yes, the plaque doesn't have Barry's name on it.
Oh, he doesn't beat the eighth gym before you do?
Right.
Okay, but he
And
makes it
you
to the No,
mhm,
actually he doesn't make it to the Pokemon League before you do. Because as you're about to actually I
mhm.
can't remember. Does he come out
He
from the
comes
Elite
behind
Four
you.
area? From Okay, yeah, he runs up behind you.
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah, so you do make it to the Elite Four before him.
Yes.
Does he even challenge the Elite Four?
I think he goes and trains more.
I guess that's like my question about these games is um obviously in red and blue and I think gold and silver, I can't remember 100%.
Mhm.
Your rival beats the Elite Four before you do, and then you have to beat the rival um, to like
Right.
reclaim that champion
Mhm.
title. But in these other ones, I'm not sure if the other games if they have a similar. method like that, or if the rival's just like, oh well, I couldn't make it through the Elite Four, so I don't have to battle, or I'm not going to battle you again because you're clearly better.
Yeah, I think I've only played the remix of Johto, but for that one, you find Silver at the Elite Four and he'll battle you, but I don't think he's really all about challenging
Okay,
um the Elite Four. And Gen 3, it's the opposite avatar of your character. So if you have the male, it's May. If you have uh the female avatar, it's Lucas, or not Lucas, it's a Brendan.
okay.
And they just come up to you at the end and they're like, "Oh, cool, you beat it." Like they don't really they don't really do much in the story because they're just the daughter or son of the professor. Um this one they're just the assistant, and your actual rival, who's Barry, doesn't challenge you. Gen 5 is interesting because have you played Gen 5?
No, I haven't.
Your rival beats you to the Elite Four, but he does much more than that, which is interesting.
Can't wait for those Gen 5 remakes.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't watched all of them, so
Okay.
maybe I need to.
Yeah, I highly recommend the Gen 5 one. Though it might be a little weird out of context. But yeah, I think it's really only 1 and 5 where they officially beat the Elite Four and you challenge them in that champion role,
Okay. Yeah, I
which is
wasn't sure about
interesting.
that.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people might be under the impression that it's more like a consistent thing, but it's really just 2 games. Other times
Hmm.
they're just kind of there at the Elite Four to challenge you. Oh, and I think in Platinum at least you can actually rematch Barry on weekends. I don't know how they would do that in this game because it's a little different in the setup. But yeah, my going back to Barry, I really liked that little detail, and then seeing that he comes after you to the Elite Four, because it shows that he took time to like just go and train. And by the time you battle him here, he has like a full team.
Well, it makes sense that he wouldn't beat you to the eighth gym
Hmm.
because the eighth gym leader is like out. He's like, yeah, Pokemon
Right.
battling sucks now.
That's
So,
true.
so he may have like made it to the gym, but
Hmm.
he wasn't there, and so he's like, well, I can't battle him yet
Right.
until we're the ones who's like, hey, we saved you from this lifeless or this battleless lifestyle. Come back to the gym. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
That's true. I did forget about that. Okay. I have to rethink this theory now. But but yeah, I mean, he comes at you with like a Snorlax, and he clearly took the time to like befriend his Munchlax for that to happen. So I thought seeing that was cool. Hearing that he's the son of the or the Tower Tycoon, I think also gives more to his backstory, because the Battle Tycoon is the hardest trainer in this facility that you only rematch, or that you only encounter after 21 battles or 49 battles of consecutive wins.
Yeah, I think if they would have built up Barry's dad to like maybe if you didn't
Hmm.
know who he was or like how he was in charge, but
Mm.
if it was like a mystery of like, oh, he's a really good Pokemon trainer, but that's all you
Hmm.
know. He could be one of the gym leaders, he could be in the Elite Four,
Yeah.
but you don't know until the end of the game.
Right.
I
It's the
think
fact
that
that
would
it's a
have
post
made more
game.
sense for Barry's character
Right.
to kind of like hint at that earlier on.
Yeah, because I think even people who played the game don't even know that connection when they
Yeah,
played
I
it
clearly
originally.
missed it.
Right. I know so many people who played the original that probably did also. The only hint you get is that when you talk to his mom in Twin Leaf, that's like he reminds her of his dad. But that's kind of all the detail we get.
Like literally
Um,
that's it. Barry reminds me of my husband.
well, something.
Well, he's 50% biologically him, so yeah, that makes sense.
Barry reminds me in that way of Hop, actually,
How
because
like he is like trying to live up to someone else's life type of
yes,
thing.
he has their legacy to live up to, basically.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's literally by the end of the game of Sword and Shield, it's also like Leon becomes the Tower Tycoon in a way.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't really do like battle tower stuff before Sword and Shield, so
Mhm.
I wouldn't have like put that together. But after you explained all that, yeah, I would definitely agree that Leon is that guy.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I wonder if there's any inspiration there. But we've been going on a while, so
Yeah, we have.
I
It's
did
been
want to
good
make.
though.
Yeah, I'm really glad we got to flush out a lot of this. Were there any other things from the anime that come to mind that you're like, oh, this happened or this didn't happen? Because
Hunter J. I would
oh,
have liked some Hunter J storyline. I think if they would have like, it could even be like an optional side quest, or not even quest, but like a repeatable
hmm,
event of like stopping some bounty hunters somewhere. Um,
yeah,
like there's daily swarms after the Elite Four.
hmm,
What if there were like daily bounty hunters that were like
hmm,
they're trying to catch this wild Pokemon or trying to steal this person's
hmm,
Pokemon at this location?
hmm.
Go stop them or something. I don't know. That could have been interesting.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Like, this is where the X Team Galactic grunts are.
Yeah,
I'd like that. Anything else?
I think that was it. I think it's hard because we didn't go through the entire anime. It was so long. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's more connections to the game. I think a little more obvious because that is one thing I'll say. The early anime doesn't do a lot to connect to the overall narrative of Team Galactic specifically. Like,
okay,
there's
yeah.
at least two or three big points in the early game, like Valley Windworks and in Eterna City, where you meet them, but in the anime they barely even touch them.
Oh,
So
I do have one question.
yeah,
Is Valley Windworks the place where Pikachu Ash and Pikachu were like teaching that Luxray to aim or use a special
no.
move?
Do you mean Manetric?
Yeah, maybe it was Manectric, yeah.
No, it was that's a good connection because it would kind of make sense. It was actually where they ran into Suicune and Drifloon because there was a specific episode where they run into a Pokemon Center and there's a bunch of Drifloon that help the nurse join her family.
Okay.
And later on, a random Suicune is in it. But yeah, that's originally where Team Galactic would be, and you get to see like the dad works at the Windworks, much like in the game. But yeah,
Interesting.
the Manetric is literally completely original, and like, why?
Yeah, why didn't
um,
you guys use Luxray for that?
hmm yeah, Luxray or Luxio, like it's so weird. And we talk more about this in our anime season 1 discussion. I kind of wish there was a Heart Home tag battle.
What do you mean tag battle? Like just doubles?
Yeah,
Or
because uh there was like the event in the anime where Ash teams up with Paul,
oh yeah, yeah.
and that would be cool to do
That
earlier
was in
in the
Heart Home?
game. Yes.
Okay. So it's like really hard for me to remember like what happened in what cities in the anime
Mm-hmm.
because I was hearing these names and they meant like practically nothing to me. But now
Right.
having played through the region, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I did in that city, so I
Yeah.
can kind of like correlate that.
Right, right. It's very hard to be like, what does this mean? Like these are just words.
Yes,
I think it'd be cool if the post game rematches were doubles with gym leaders.
that'd be
I think
fun.
a lot of
That'd be
things
hard.
actually would be nice for gym leaders.
I know. There's so much you could add.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things. I think overall thoughts, I really like these games, but there's a lot that they could have introduced, tweaked, added that I think would just make these such gems in the overall mind of Pokemon games.
Yeah, I've been enjoying them a lot. I was at 86 or so hours, and I feel like that's a pretty good amount of time so far with how long it's been out.
Mhm.
Not so much that I've been like no lifing on it, but enough to be like I've actually like enjoyed the game and continued to play it intentionally, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, same.
so I think there are some things that frustrate me, or I think that they made dumb decisions with. But
Mhm.
I think overall, like I'm enjoying the game, and it's one that I'm glad I'm playing, and I'm glad
Mhm.
that I got this experience because I hadn't done Gen 4 before. So
Yeah.
as someone who went into this pretty much blind, besides the anime stuff,
Mhm.
um, it was enjoyable. It's different than Sword and Shield,
Mhm.
very different, but it was good.
Yeah, and I think one of the big differences that I've heard is the amount of trainers that you just ran into. But that never struck me as an issue, and I was wondering if that was something that you noticed playing it for the first time, and where it kind of falls on the scale of annoyance to not bothering you.
Um, I feel like, and it's just could be my own like misremembering, or my own perception, but I feel like Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee had more trainer battles that were like strung together that felt like a
Mm.
grind.
Mhm.
But you obviously didn't like fight the wild Pokemon, you just threw a Pokeball at them. So it kind of does change up the dynamic of the game when you
Mhm.
have that kind of split.
Right.
But I didn't feel like there was a time where I was like, wow, there's way too many trainers. I
Mm.
I
Mhm.
felt like there was times that I was like, yeah, I'm fighting quite a bit of trainers, and most of them have like one or two Pokemon,
Mhm.
and that's kind of annoying. I would rather less trainers with more Pokemon than more trainers with less Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever had this experience of like, why am I fighting this many trainers?
Yeah, and I think part of it is like if you explore the route a bit, lots of times you'll just find, hey, if you use your rock smash or strength or cut, you can avoid half the trainers and be fine. Like, I think this is also a benefit or a boon of having the shared experience. That I think in other iterations of the game, you might be like, oh no, I have to actually go and do it. And I've heard the argument like you have to do it for the decks, but you can also just catch the Pokemon. Like, there isn't an obligation to just run into every trainer just to see what they have.
So I think the criticism on that was if you wanted to do it like ASAP, like the first week it came out,
Mm,
then it was like you needed to battle everybody because you probably don't have friends to trade with that have the exclusives you don't have or that you haven't seen. Also, the Drifloon, I know that one was kind of a pain for people.
mm,
I believe that was in the Ghost Gym, but you had to answer the questions wrong.
right.
Those were like the math questions, and I never did
Mhm.
that. I had always answered them correctly, so
You
I
big
didn't fight
brained it.
anybody. Yeah, which was actually small brained.
It got
um,
you.
yeah, right. Tricked me. I think just overall, like if I weren't in a time crunch of trying to get it done within a week or whatever, then I don't think it's too bad
Mhm.
on like needing to battle everybody because, like you said, you have a lot of options of catching and evolving and whatever breeding if you need to get a baby Pokemon.
Yeah, and for Drifloon is probably one of the more prominent sore points there because again, it's just a weekly occurrence Pokemon. But
Yeah,
like,
but if you don't have that like time constraint on yourself, then it's like who cares if you just wait till Friday? Like you
yeah,
can it's very easy to get if you have patience.
right. Like, I think another thing is like this is designed not to be a competitive game. So I don't think anyone's necessarily on a professional level trying to do that. Yeah, I'm excited to see if there's any additional content for this game to kind of fill in those gaps or improve parts of the game that we talked
Well,
about.
there's got to be some stuff for Shaman. We already know Shaman's in the game. We know that you could. I'm not sure if you still can. I think there might be other methods, but
Hmm.
I don't know, of glitching to the Shaman Island and catching Shaman.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, originally it was a mystery gift that unlocked that area. So I imagine it would be the same as uh, that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know
I won't
that.
spoil it too much because it's actually very pretty. So, but yeah, it isn't isn't like DLC. It's one of those mystery gifts where there's more to it than just like walk up and receive the Pokemon, basically, but not a ton more.
Okay, I'm not really familiar with that kind of mystery gift.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I guess the only thing I could think of is the crystals in Sword and Shield, where you had to go to that one specific tower den to throw the crystals in.
Oh,
For like
mhm,
the Pikachu and Eevee that they recently had.
right.
Um, you could get, I think they had a Copperaja event that got canceled, but
Yeah,
maybe it was only in the UK. And then the pre-order bonus, or maybe not pre-order, the double pack came with Larvitar and Komo-o or whatever,
right.
that fighting dragon. So I think those were like the only things that would maybe feel like that to me.
Okay, yeah, I'll be very intrigued by your reactions to when we actually get these versions of mystery gifts.
Because then
Um,
there's also Darkrai in the game, correct?
yeah, there
And I
is.
know people were glitching to get that in the old ones. I'm not sure if they have done that or can do that in this
Mhm,
one. Um, but I know that was a thing in the past, so
mhm.
I wonder how that will play out.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that, and have you gone back to Canalave City since you beat the game?
I don't think so.
Okay. I think this will be the note I leave you off on then, the little quest. Go to the sailor and the sailor's house who takes you to Iron Island and see what's going on in there.
All right. Uh, do I have to have gone to Iron Island before? Because I haven't done that.
That's a good question. I don't think so. I
Okay,
think if
cool.
you go
Yeah,
to the
then I'll check it
house,
out.
you'll be fine. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my pro tip for you if you want to check it out. But yeah, I think it's been a great discussion, kind of going over a lot about this game and your first experience, which is awesome.
Yeah,
So
but it's bedtime.
it is definitely bedtime. But thank you, Brady, for coming on as always and sharing your first debut tour of Sinnoh.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had different plans for the Diamond and Pearl remakes originally.
Hmm.
I wanted to like take time off and stream going. Like, if you know what to expect, it's not that hard. I mean, you still have to be appropriately leveled and come with a good strategy, but if you know what kind of strategy you need, then it's okay.
Right.
Um, but I'm glad I didn't stream that
Hmm.
and nuzlocke it. But this gave me another opportunity to just like reflect on the game, so that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing someone who's Nuzlocke right now, and I'm like, oh, this is not gonna. It's gonna paint you a very different picture of the game.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm glad that you got to kind of dedicate more time to it in the more organic playthrough of it, which is awesome. And this has been another episode of Sights on Sinnoh, a kind of review episode of anime versus game, and just a general first experience of what Sinnoh is like. But if you have anything to share, feel free to let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what your first time or 100th time through this game has been like, and anything new you discovered or anything that you might have had your interest piqued about when listening to us chat. And we'd love to hear what you got to say. So, down there, all yours. I've been Will,
and I'm Brady.
and we will see you in Sinnoh. Have a good one.
Bye.